Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you are all well and you are all staying safe. Today is the 7th of January 2022. I'm doing some building. I've sold a few of my Hobby King aircraft. I've decided to cull some of my Hobby King aircraft. They don't service the UK well anymore. Getting spares is like finding hen's teeth. Therefore, I've decided to replace a bulk of my Hobby King aircraft. So I've sold a few aircraft, in short. Therefore, I made room in my ceiling. I actually hang my aircraft, well, some of them, not all of them, from my ceilings, and I found room for the HS123. Yes, I am still restoring that damn thing. Done the bulk of the restore. It just needs one final effort and then it will be ready to fly. So that's off the ground, that's up in the air, off the ground. And I want to build the Arrows Husky that I've just recently purchased. But in order to do that, I've got to build this Xfly A10 or Thunderbolt 2. This will go up on the ceiling in another location. I can throw the box away, then I can build the Husky, and the Husky will go next to my PA-18. That's the story behind the build. Let's get on with it. I'm going to mix things up a little bit with this assembly build, call it what you will. And I'm going to start with the CG. I'm going to mark the CG on the wing. The wing's not attached to anything, it's just sitting there in front of you, and in the manual it clearly shows that from the wing root where it matches or joins the fuselage, you measure 45mm back and mark your C of G. So having checked the placement of the fuselage, I'm going to use my steel rule to mark 45 back. And I'm going to measure the outside. This is approximated, of course, but it should be pretty close. There's 40. The light is terrible. That's 40. That's 50. That's 45. So I'm going to come in at 40, which is there. Keeping that there, nice and straight along that line. So that's fine. I'm going to do the same on this side.
Moments later.
So they're my CG marks. I'll just get my stickers, put them on, glue them in, snap them down.
A little later.
C of G all marked up. So that job's done, and it was so much easier to do without the aircraft fuselage being on it. What we need to do is to glue these fins, they're not rudders, they're just fins, on like this. Now as you can see, there's some movement. So the secret to this is using this bulge here is to make sure that's the bit that's flat against this surface, and then they look pretty much at 90 degrees. I was looking at this and I was tempted to push some cocktail sticks through the side here, but I don't think it needs it. If anything, I might push a cocktail stick up through here, this piece here and here, two through there, just to hold it in place, give it a bit more stability. I don't think it needs it though. It's got a spar through there. There's no actual movement on these. So it's the same old, same old. We take our surface to be glued and we just hash it up a bit. Rough it up a bit. Do the other side while we're here. This step is in fact the second step they say to do. Okay, there we are. Check for fit again. Yep, perfectamundo. And I'm not using Fantac, I'm using Yoo-Hoo Paw. Let's put some sticky on, as one of the manuals said. I can't remember which one it was, but it says use sticky. Sticky, and it's like this. And look sticky, like this. Try fit. All eases out. Bring it down. If it didn't ooze out, I'd put more glue on it, but as it's oozed out, it doesn't need any more. That's okay. Let's just wipe that off there. And then we're going to put that like that. Let's get it around there. This is good. Take that out. And we're going to leave it for a few minutes. This is good. Let's leave that just like that for 15-20 minutes. Let it set, and we'll repeat the process on the other end. As I'm letting this dry, I decided to cut crosses into this, hatch this up, rough it up a bit. The reason for that is I realised that once the other end is on, it might be a little bit problematic getting the knife in there. So I've done that now, so this is ready for gluing this part. The reason I rough this up is because back in the day I used to use epoxy a lot, and epoxy needed something to seep into and bind. It may not be necessary to do it for glues like Yoo-Hoo Pour. They actually have a chemical reaction between the two foam surfaces and bond it. It's just something I do. As you've seen me glue one of the fins in, I don't think you needed to see me glue the second one in. It's already glued in. Another 20 minutes, let's wait, get that set. Then I'll glue this whole assembly onto the A10. We're here for the next phase. This is all glued together. Very nice. Now this has to go under those and slot in like that. And that's a very good fit. I'm just going to put the glue on and pop it on. Now I've got an imprint of where the glue is, and it looks like it's everywhere. So I'll just put a tiny bit on here. Too much. A bit here. Okay, I think we're good to go. We just leave that for a few minutes. I think we're good to go. We'll just leave that for a few minutes, let it dry, then we'll pop it back on. Okay, let's try it again. So we've got some colour there now. Okay, let's lift that up, it starts to go exactly the way foam tack does. It gets a bit stringy. We're going to leave that for another 20 minutes. This is set perfectly. It's really good. Really strong, stable. I'm happy with that. Now the first thing that the instructions say to do is to put the main wing on. Well, I'm not going to do that even at this stage. What I am going to do, if I can get this to sit properly, I'm going to put the front nose wheel on, so I can twist and turn this without the wings getting in the way. I'm putting the front nose wheel on because I intend to try and launch it from the grass site rather than hand launch it. I've also ordered an upgrade nose wheel from Castle RC. In fact, I've ordered two, if I remember correctly, because I want to replace the nose wheel on my Xfly T7A as well. But I believe what you need to do is to cut off the actual nose wheel and then mount this sprung loaded wheel on the main shaft, so there's nothing lost by attaching the nose wheel at this stage. So the way this works is we've got to push the nose wheel up. It comes up through this hole here. We then have an aluminium piece that slots on top, and then that's locked in place through an Allen key but it's got a hole in the fuselage which allows you to get that Allen key in. It's exactly the same setup as the T7A, except they've thought about it and they've put a hole in the fuselage so you can go in this way rather than trying to get something to lock tail to nose. I've got to put a dab of glue on here because this is a little C-clip. And this is that little plastic thing that can only fit a certain way because of the bend in here. So I'm going to pop that in, and then this has got a flat cutout in it, and we'll pop the aluminium piece on top of that and then grab screw it in. So that goes up there, pointing that way. Yep. Here's the little aluminium piece. Going to see how that goes. That seems to be okay there. Got that straight, and then we can go through the side here, which is absolutely brilliant, to get in there and do that up. That is superb. Such a good design, this one. Superb. Thumbs up for that, guys. If only they had done that for the T7A. And that's it. That's locked in place. Now we can do the wings, which are in fact the last thing we've got to do. Like that. Xfly is really impressing me with their quality. So these are the aileron connectors. Already runs through to the loom, which I'll show you at the front. And they've actually got these little clips on them. So once clipped together, even if you tug the wiring, they're not going to come apart. It's little things like that that make all the difference. That's it. Brilliant. Wow. This takes 2mm. Let's just feel for it, see if we can get it going. Don't know. Yeah, that's gone in. Wow. I won't do that tight. Let's put this on. Now these are all the same size, same length. Although they don't all go down the same amount once they go into these holes. So these go in quite far. At the back they don't. All I'm doing is doing these up just so they start to bite. And this has got to have been the easiest wing I've put on. Wow, I'm really impressed. I'm doing this one up a bit tighter, that one a bit tighter. That's tight. It's tight. Tight. Tight, it's a wing on. Wow. Wow. While we've got it here on its back, this piece worried me. This piece here. If I had to end up hand launching it. So what I might do is see if I can remove it and then put magnets on it so I can clip it on if I want and then just take it off. So I've done nothing according to the way they've said it needs to be done. Next thing is to put this undercarriage in. main gear pushes into slots and it just locks in. And these wheels are quite large, they're 2.25. I do need to put a drop of glue on it. Ooh, that's tight. Bloody hell. Wow. I think that's it. I'm going to push that in. There is a little lip on here. I suppose you get it past that lip and then it just locks down. That's all there is holding it in. Wow. So while it's belly up, we're going to connect these ball links. And once I've centered the servos, I can adjust the push rods to make sure these are both level. So I'm not going to worry about that now. We'll see what it looks like when we do the servos. But what I do need to do is just turn these around so they're matching the ball link. There we go. So obviously if I connect that, that's way up. If I connect that, that's up, it's actually down elevator. What I'm going to do, I'm going to level that servo now and just see if we have to adjust any of the rods. So I've got my servo tester on. I haven't connected the ball links up, but you can see how it moves. I've got the manual thing there. And then I centre it and you can see they're definitely up. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is adjust it at this end inside here, and that's going to be a 2mm adjuster, I should think. No, 2mm's too big for this, so I'm going to stick to 1.5. Yeah, so I'm going to undo that, just eyeball that level. Okay, and then eyeball this one level. I don't know. And then lock it down again. Now the reason I've done that is because if I show you here, there is a lot of wire left over. And rather than unscrew this end screwed on quite a bit, I'll adjust it from here, and that looks pretty good. I've got a pair of ball link pliers here, but it is seriously no fun. I'll try and get this joined up as much as you can. Get that on the back, that on the front, and push. Alright, that's one. Let's do the other one. Let's just twist that so it's round a bit more. Get that bit over where the screw is. That bit there. That's it. Right. Let's try those out. It's looking good. Centre it. Yeah, I don't know if they're level or not, but plenty of adjustment inside here if I need to do it. Okay, while she's got her belly up in the air, let's try the ailerons. Now, these are the two, so this is going to be the ailerons. They're all ready. Now that's centred, which looks pretty good on both. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. maybe a couple of mil trim on it. I don't know. Yep, we'll leave them like that. They seem preset at the factory. Well, let's test that nose gear servo. There we are. Now it's got lots of movement and it locks. See? That's way too much. Let's centre it. That's centred. Yeah, it looks pretty good actually. It's very good. Alright. That has got to be the best build I have ever had. I don't know whether it's because I haven't been doing them for a while. Everything went together really, really smoothly. Very impressed. Now I can check the elevator's level because apparently there is a little line on the fin that you need to get them centred against. So I will do that. We know the CG markings are on. They are good. There's a few stickers, no steps that I've got to stick on it. I tend not to put all the ones that they show on. I've got a load left over from the T7A. Receiver wise, I'm going to use an AR630 with stabilisation and AS3X. And contrary to what the manual recommends, it's going in the nose. The reason for that is pretty obvious. The cable loom comes all the way over here and sits right on the nose. So I will be putting this in there. Those cables will go into it because all this is for the battery. I've got to change this connector. See if I've got an adapter for that. Well, I don't have an adapter for the EC3 connector here. I could cut it off and solder on an XT60, but I'm not going to. I'm going to, in fact I already have ordered an EC3 converter to an XT60. When that arrives I'll just pop it on. But the lack of that will not stop me sort out the CMG, and I've got this zippy compact 4S 60C discharge 2200 to set that up. It will not stop me set up the AR630, just wiring everything in and getting it stuck down. And also it will not stop me putting on the decals or the stickers. I'll get on and do that now.
A little later.
And there we have the Xfly Model A10 Thunderbolt 2. Brilliant, brilliant build, assembly, whatever you want to call it. It went together so well. I didn't have a single issue at all with anything. So what I've done is I've put some no step stickers on. I've used 8. It's got this whole batch here left. I'll just keep them for something else. I built it in the complete reverse order to what the manual said. And it was a dream, absolute dream. And here's the best bit. There's a little raised ridge in here where there's a plastic mount for the wheel and then the servo, then it drops down again. There's a little island, little block of foam in there. Zippy compact 2200 4S 60C discharge, put right up against the lip of that raised point. Perfect centre of gravity. It just works. Absolutely incredible. The other thing is this wiring here for the servos and the rudder fit perfectly, and the AR630 is up against the nose. There it is. It's not quite straight, I've got to level it up. It's a bit of a funny angle. But it fits in there perfectly. Nothing gets in the way of the servo. Yeah, I like it. It's really, really good. And that centre of gravity to be spot on first time. I've never had that before. There it is. Very slightly nose heavy. And that's what we need. Wow. Right, so that's number 1 done. It's a good size, good looking model. I might have to paint something on the underside or put some of my black stripes on the underside, so there's nothing really to distinguish top from bottom. This is now going into the ceiling in my study. I've got to mount that up. I can then get rid of the box that it came in, then build the Arrows Husky, Do leave any comments if there's anything you want to know that I haven't explained. One of the best, easiest, simplest assemblies, builds that I've ever had to do. Everything went together perfectly, no issues whatsoever on it. Really pleased with that. It's finished, complete. I've just got to wait until my battery adapter comes and I'll program in the receiver, check all the final surfaces, and I'll be ready to maiden. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you on another video. Cheers.